Welcome back everyone to the tutorial on how to make Unipuff, my original design. So in this video, we will be making the body, the legs, and the arms. So let's get started with the legs. You're gonna wanna choose a color to start with. It doesn't really matter because you're going in a spiral, but I will start with the pink color. So let's start with a cap band and just follow me for the colors. So we're gonna cap this first band, like so, and pull through 2 pink bands. So that's one, and 2. Now for the next color, we're not doing any slip stitches, just gonna go right through that cap band and pull through your 2 next colors. So for me, that's purple. I'll go 1 and 2. Then again, you're gonna go 2 in your 3rd color. That's 1 and 2. Cut a bit of stuffing. Yeah, so now you should have something that looks like this. Don't worry if you have any weird stuff like this. It'll get fixed the more you crochet. So for our next row, we're gonna do an increase in each stitch. So you're just gonna wanna go in the color, so pull through the same color band as your stitch. So let's get started. For this first stitch, no slip stitches, just pull through 2 bands. Oop, not off. And next stitch, it's 1 and 2. Now for our next color, we're gonna go through that purple stitch with a purple band, and we are increasing. Again. And for our last color, another 2 increases. C-clip out, and to our last increase. So there we go. Now we should have something that looks like this. Place your C-clip on the band that's around your hook, and you should have 12 stitches. So now we're going to do a single crochet followed by an increase in each stitch. No slip stitches, and going into our first stitch with 1 band. And this. Single crochet. And our last pink stitch here, we should have an increase. And then same thing with the purple color. So now we should have something like this, and we should have 18 stitches. Now we're gonna do 2 rounds of single crochets. So we're pulling through 1 band in each stitch. So I will do a round with you and then you could pause the video and come back when you're done. So going through with your pink, no slip stitches, and just go pull through the same color band as your stitch. And our last stitch with pink, and we're going to purple. Okay, so now you could go ahead and pause the video. You should have something that looks like this. You just finished your 2 rounds of single crochets, and now we are going to do a decrease to 12 stitches. So we are going to go in our first stitch with a pink, and we're going to do a single crochet, no slip stitch, and then a decrease. So remember how we do our decrease? You go in the first chain, then the next stitch you go in the first chain as well, and pull a band through and slide. And do that one more time. Single crochet, then a decrease, and then you just single. There we go. So now we're just gonna do a simple round of single crochets around, like we did before, just going in each stitch. So you could go ahead and start that. Single crochet, pulling 1 band through each stitch. And now we have a bunch of single crochets to do. So now that we are switching colors to white, we will want to do a slip stitch, and we are just single crocheting 3 rounds in white. So go through your first chain, it should be pink, and pull through 1 band through all the stuff on your hook. I will do this round with you, and then you could place it on the band that is around your hook. And now you could go ahead and pause the video and finish these 2 rounds and come back to me when you're done. This is what you should have. So now we're just going to slip knot the end like this one. So you're just gonna go through this next stitch here and just pull a band through everything on your hook. And pull really tight. You could remove your stitch marker because you do not need it anymore. And now we could start stuffing this guy. So you will not want to overstuff this, but you want it to be fluffy enough. So let's say you could take about this much, just go like this and just keep stuffing it until you find that you put enough. So you want to stuff more the boot part of it, and the top you're gonna leave a bit empty because you're still gonna need to stitch this onto the body, and you don't want stuffing, you don't want to catch your stuffing. So we want it more into the boot part, well, the hoof part, and you're just gonna take a little bit more and just place that on top. Just take a loose part and just push that in, and then you're just gonna leave these aside, and you could pause the video and make yourself another one, and then you could leave these aside while we make our arms. So now we are going to make the arms. The arms are pretty similar to the legs. It's just that we have a bit more single crochets to do, and this bottom part with the colors is a bit more skinny. So let's get started with the arms. We are going to start off with a magic ring. We're doing the same thing as the legs. So you could start with a color, cap the band, and just pull through another 2 bands. And little squirmy cap band there. And pull the last one. And you could just keep doing that with each color. Just pull through 2 bands. No slip stitches. You just pull them through. We got our magic ring. Place your C-clip on the band that's around your hook. And now we could increase. So go through this first stitch and pull through 2 bands for an increase, 1 at a time. And we are increasing to 12 stitches. So you could count that when you're done. And you're pulling through, the color of your stitch is the color that is the color band that you're gonna wanna pull through. Okie dokie, now you should have 12 stitches and it should look a bit like this. And now we're just gonna do an increase to 15 stitches. So that means we're gonna do 3 single crochets followed by an increase. So we're going through our first stitch here is turquoise. Grab that full stitch and pull through 1 band. We're going 1, 2, 3, and then in this last stitch we're just going to pull through 2 bands for an increase. So 1 and 2. There we go. Now just keep repeating that pattern. Okay, now we are done with our increasing. So now what you're gonna wanna do is, we have 3 rounds of single crochets to do. So I'll do 1 or maybe a bit of 1 with you, and then you could go ahead and pause the video and finish the rest of the rounds. So I'll start the first round with you. So going into your first chain with a turquoise band, and just 1 band in each chain, all the way around. And last one, going into your purple. Yep. There we go. Almost lost that band. And last color, pink. And 2 more. That's 1 and 2. So now, since we are done our first round, you could go ahead and pause the video while you finish these 2 rounds. I will finish them off camera, so you guys could go do that and come back to me when you're done. Now you should have something that looks like this. It's our little hand, let's say, hoof, whatever you want to call it. Now we are going to decrease to 12 stitches. So to do that, we're just going to go 3 single crochets followed by a decrease. If you forgot how I do my decreases, I will show you guys in a sec. So we're going to go through our first stitch. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then you should have 2 more stitches left, and then you're just going to go, instead of going through the full stitch, we're just going to take that 1 stitch right coming near us. So then you're going to go into the next stitch and grab that same first band and pull a band through those 2 bands and slide. And just do that again. Single, 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 and then a decrease. Just take that band. And then last color to do our decrease with, I'm gonna go single, 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 and then a decrease. So first band and first band. Okay, now we C-clip out and slide that through. And there we go. Now we got our little colorful paw part. Now we are going to do a 6 rounds of single crochet. So I will start off by doing a few stitches with you, and then you could pause the video and finish. So you could just take bands and just mark them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And these are just so that you don't lose your spot on how many rounds you've done. So you're just gonna, since you are changing colors to white now, you are going to go through your first stitch and pull this white band through everything on your hook. There you go, and slide. Don't pull too tight on this, you just want it to be loose there. And we're just gonna go single crochet around. And when you guys are done this round, you could stuff the foot, or you could do it before you started this round. Depends on what you want to do. So don't skip this stitch. And one more after this. Take up your C-clip and do that last stitch. So now, if you want, you could go ahead and stuff the paw part of your foot. So I'm just gonna grab some stuffing, and you could just roll this part into a ball and just put that inside of here. There we go. So now you got some stuffing in your paw. You could go ahead and pause the video and finish these 5 rounds here that you have, and come back to me when you're done. This is what you should have after your 6 rounds of single crochets. Should look something like this. And as you can see, I finished at the stitch right before the C-clip, because in this last stitch, we're gonna go through, we got our C-clip, and we're gonna take a band and pull it through everything on our hook to make a slip stitch, and just pull that really tight. So you just did a slip stitch to tie it off, and now you could add some stuffing. So you wanna get your stuffing, and you already have in the foot part of it, so now you're just gonna, in the arm or the hand, whatever you want to call it, and now you're just gonna stuff the arm part. So you want it to be fluffy but not overstuffed. You'll see if it's overstuffed, you'll be able to see through the stitches. So you just want it to be just enough. So I'm gonna add a bit more. Go small portions, because you don't want to add a lot and then need to take it out. So you should have something like this. And now we are going to add some sewing bands. We're going to add 4 sewing bands so that we have 5. So like this one, all we're gonna do is we're just gonna go here. We're gonna take our slip knot to the side, and we're just gonna fold it like this. So that's flat. And then what you're gonna wanna do, you're gonna go through that stitch where your slip knot is, like right here, and then this one, not this one, because this is the stitch that we stitched in. So right next to that, right here. And then you're just gonna pull a band through those 2, and pull tight enough that it won't come out, but don't pull super tight, because you will need to stitch these on. So you don't want there to be a giant gap when you do it. Sorry. you just want it to be tight enough that it won't, like, if I don't do it tight enough, it'll start to slip off there, if you see. Just tie that a bit tighter. And if you ever do it too tight, you could always just go and cut it. But you're just gonna wanna add 4 of these. So I got 3, one more. There we go. So I added all my sewing bands, and you should have something that looks like this. Now you could go ahead and pause the video and make yourself another one. Now that you are done with your arms, we can move on to the body. So this body will be finishing our second video. So after the body, we'll be done the second video for Unipuff. Starting off with a magic ring of 6 stitches. And this whole body will be in the white color. So just pull through 6 bands. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is 5, and 1 more, 6. And add your C-clip to the band that's around your hook. Next, we are going to increase to 12 stitches. So an increase in every stitch. So pulling through 2 bands. 1, 2, and now we are going to do a single crochet followed by an increase to 18 stitches. So now you have 12, and then we're increasing to 18. So we're going single crochet, then increase in the next stitch. And do that all the way around. There we go. So from now on, the pattern will be the same for a few more rounds. Now we just did a single crochet increase. Next, we're gonna do 2 single crochet increase, and then I'll keep going up. So the first part of the body is kind of like the head. So you might recognize the moves that we're doing. So now we're going to do 2 single crochets followed by an increase. 2, then increase. And do this all the way around till you hit your stitch marker. Then increase in the last stitch. And 1 and 2. So you should have something that looks a bit like this. And now we're increasing to 30 stitches. So getting pretty big. By doing 3 single crochets followed by an increase. So 1, 2, 3, followed by an increase. And our last stitch here with the C-clip will be an increase. So just pull 2 bands and yay! Now we are at our last round of increases. Yay! Okay, so we're at our last round of increasing. We are doing 4 single crochets followed by an increase, and we are increasing to 36 stitches. So we're increasing 6 times. So we're gonna go in this first chain and go 1, 2, 2, 3, 3 and 4. And then an increase here. 1, 2. And then you could repeat that pattern all the way around. should have 36 stitches. Now we need to do 6 rounds of single crochets. So if you lay that out, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. So I will show you a bit of mine, and then you could finish off with the rest of your single crochets. So starting off, you're going to take one band there, and you're just going through one band through each stitch. Like this, just simple crocheting. And now you could go ahead and pause the video and come back to me when you're done. Now that we are done our 6 rounds of single crochets, this is what it should look like. As we said when we were doing the head, it kind of looks like a bowl, but now this is where he's gonna sit, so that's normal. Now we are going to decrease to 30 stitches, since we are at 36 right now, by doing 4 single crochets followed by a decrease. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then to do our decrease, we're just taking the first loop in both chains and just pulling that through like this. That is how we are decreasing in this whole project. So you could go ahead and pause the video and come back to me when you are done this round. This is what you should have after you're decreasing. You should have 30 stitches, and for the next 4 rounds, you are going to do single crochets all the way around. So in each stitch, you're just pulling through one band. We are doing this for 4 rounds. I'll do a bit of the first round with you, and then you could pause the video and come back when you're done. So now you could go ahead and click that pause button while you finish these 3 rounds. This is what your body should look like after your 4 rounds of single crochets. It should start to kind of look like a body, as you can see. And now we are going to start decreasing again to 24 stitches, because now we are at 30 stitches and we are going to decrease to 24. So we are going to do 3 single crochets followed by a decrease. And let's start in our first stitch. 1, 2, 3. Then a decrease, taking our first loop in our stitch on both of them and slide. And just repeat the pattern all the way around. And I will finish this off camera, so you could go ahead and pause the video and come back to me when you're done. Now you should be done decreasing, and we only have a few more rows till we are done the body. So now we have 4 rounds of single crochets again. Sorry guys, this is a lot of single crochets, but it makes an awesome result. So now we are going to start off our 4 rounds of single crochets. Just mark them down there. And I'll start this row with you, and then you can pause the video and finish the rest of your single crochets. This is our last time doing a bunch of these, so we're done after this. So you could go ahead and pause this video and finish off the rest of your single crochets. After all those painful rows of single crochets, this is what you should have. Now we are going to decrease for the last time. So this is our last row. We are going to decrease to 18 stitches by doing 2 single crochets followed by a decrease. So 1, 2, decrease, and 1, 2, and decrease, and just keep repeating this all the way around. Okay, now we're at our last 2 stitches, and we're just going to decrease them into 1. And then if you still have your C-clip, do not place it on the band that you're around your hook. You're going to go in the next stitch and just do a slip knot. So bring that band through everything on your hook. And pull decently tight. So now you should have like this, and this will be your body. So now you could go ahead and stuff your body. So you're gonna need some stuffing, and go a bit at a time, and just place that inside there. And try not to pull this too much because you have decrease and it might try to get really loose, and then it'll be harder to attach to the head. Well, to attach the head. This could probably use a bit more. Add a bit more to this, and then that should be good. So that completes our body and our part 2. So hope you guys enjoyed, and come back for part 3 for attaching everything together. Bye! Thanks for watching!